Good day, everyone. Welcome to our class. This is Mrs. Sherilyn Jean Linjo, your teacher for today. Our topic for week 4 is synthesizing information from multiple resources. Our MAC is synthesize essential information found in various sources. In academics, we are aware that reading is a must, right? And we need to synthesize while reading, but synthesizing is like a puzzle. You need to put the pieces together and details together to make a whole new idea. As we already know, we can find various information through reading, listening, and watching. However, in order for us to benefit from the reading, we should only select information that is essential. When we say essential, we must be careful on what information we must select. What kind of information must we choose for our research? Do you know? How do we do that? Of course, first, the information must be factual, meaning it should be correct and do not have any lies. Second, it must be accurate. It must be exact, in other words. The information should not have add ons or less. And the last one, reliable. We must only choose the information from trustworthy sources. Remember our primary and secondary resources, which was our topic from week 3? Can you still remember, class? And to help us in our researching methods, we must synthesize. However, synthesizing is one of the most challenging reading strategies. We all know that. Many are confused and mistaken that this is the same as summarizing or making a conclusion. But no, no, no. Actually, these three strategies are different, but actually, they are really related. Take a look at the table in my presentation, which explains the difference between summary, conclusion, and our topic, which is the synthesis. Summary comes from the word Latin word summa, which means whole, totality, or gist. It means giving an overview of the main text points either from reading, listening, or watching using your own words. It is just more on retelling details and usually shorter than the original one. It also answers the question, what is the article or the topic all about? So let's proceed now to the conclusion. It answers the question, so what? It is also said to be reasoned judgment, the inference or essence of something. The so what strategy is used to clarify the important points of an article and suggest to the reader a solution. It suggests a solution, it answers a question, or also gives us a question or insight into the topic that reiterates what matters to them. What is the most important thing in that text? And actually, conclusion, there is no place for bringing up new ideas. We cannot put or add additional ideas in conclusion, but instead it wraps up the main points. So let us now proceed to synthesis. Synthesis comes from the Greek word syntheszenai, which syn means together and thessenai means to put or to place. So in other words, it means putting ideas and finding from multiple or many sources together in order to make an overall and new idea. Does that clear too? Okay, so let's see. Unlike the summary, which is a basic technique, you know, when Your teacher asks you to read a story or a poem. Eventually, the teacher will ask you to summarize it, right? But synthesis is an advanced reading technique which requires number one, the new understanding, meaning something not considered before a text is read. Number two, the deeper understanding. We became more responsive or appreciative of an idea or after reading a text. For example, you already know about dogs, but after reading a text, you have a deeper understanding or appreciative about the dogs. And number three, changed understanding resulted in opposite or alternative perspective. Let's use the example dogs again. You already know that dogs are man's best friend, right? But what if it suddenly changed because of a text? That is what we call changed understanding. So the three required advanced technique in synthesizing is new understanding, deeper understanding, and changed understanding. Do you get it? So let me explain the learning task number three. The directions are read the summarized information about community pantry. Make sure you highlight the important points in each source given for you to answer the questions given. So here are the process questions. The first one is what key points did you get from source number one, source number two, source number three, and source number four? Number two, what similarities and differences did you identify from the sources? Number three, complete the organizer below. Of course, you should use a separate paper for this. So in the organizer, you will put your conclusion and your synthesis. You can just go back to the module for the steps on how synthesizing, or you can just go back to this video if you're still confused about it. So that ends the week 4 and let us proceed to week 5, which is entitled Composing Effective Paragraph. The milk is composed effective paragraph. And the enabling competency is distinguishing the parts of a paragraph. So let's start it with that activity. Learning task number 1. Choose the letter of the appropriate answer to complete the sentences below. So number 1, blank is or are the sentences in the paragraph where it usually restates the main idea and the different words or summarizes the main point of the paragraph. Is it A paragraph, B topic sentence, C supporting details, or D concluding sentence? What is your answer? The correct answer is letter D, the concluding sentence. Concluding sentence summarizes the main points of the paragraph. It is usually at the end of the paragraph. Number 2, blank is or are used to develop the main idea. In other words, it gives information about the main idea. It can be facts, statistics, details, or examples. Is it letter A paragraph, B topic sentence, C supporting details, or letter D concluding sentence? The correct answer is letter C, supporting details. Supporting details gives informations regarding the main idea. Let's proceed to number 3. Blank is a series of sentences that support a main idea or point. A paragraph, B topic sentence, C supporting details, or letter D concluding sentence. The correct answer is letter A, paragraph. A paragraph is a group of sentences about one topic. It contains a topic sentence, supporting details, and sometimes a concluding sentence. The sentences follow one another from the beginning to the end of a paragraph. A paragraph is usually part of a longer piece of writing, such as a letter or an essay. Let's proceed to number 4. Blank states the main idea of the paragraph. It shows what the whole paragraph is all about. Is it letter A, paragraph, B, topic sentence, C, supporting details, or letter D, concluding sentence? The correct answer is letter B, topic sentence. So now that we are done with learning task number 1, let us now read and learn the parts of a paragraph. Are you ready to learn? If you are, let's go. So, look at the hamburger. I hope I didn't make you hungry. Imagine a paragraph as a hamburger. The top bun is a topic sentence, and the bottom bun is the concluding sentence. And the ingredients between the two buns are the supporting details or the supporting sentences. The topic sentence is usually the first sentence of the paragraph. It states the main idea of the paragraph. A good topic sentence tells the reader exactly what the rest of the paragraph will be. The supporting sentences are the middle sentences of the paragraph. They provide details such as explanations or examples that expand or support the topic sentence. Supporting sentences are sometimes connected by the transition words. The concluding sentence is sometimes used in longer paragraphs to sum up the ideas presented. It also expresses the same idea as a topic sentence, but of course in a different words. It can start with a transition such as clearly or in conclusion. Let us check if you can answer this learning test number 2, which is also included in your learning activity sheet. So let us read the paragraph below and let us identify the topic sentence and the supporting details used in the paragraph. People in my family love our dog, Punch. However, I have several reasons for wanting to get rid of Punch. First of all, he knows I don't like him. Sometimes he gives me an evil look and he curls his top lip back to show me his teeth. The message is clearly, someday I'm going to bite you. Another reason to get rid of Punch is he sheds everywhere. Every surface in our house is covered with Punch hair. I spend more time brushing it off my clothes than I do mowing the lawn. Last of all, Punch is an early riser, while on the weekends, I am not. He will start barking and whining to go outside at 7 a.m., and it's my job to take care of him. When I told my family that I had a list of good reasons for getting rid of Punch, they said they would make a list of reasons to get rid of me. So, what do you think is the topic sentence? What are the supporting details to support the main idea in the paragraph? So, let's check your answers. The topic sentence in the paragraph is people in my family love our dog Punch. However, I have several reasons for wanting to get rid of Punch. The main idea here is he or she wanted to get rid of Punch. So let's see the supporting details. The supporting detail number one is first of all. The supporting detail number two is another reason. It explains the several reasons for wanting to get rid of punch, right? And for the last supporting detail, correct. Last of all. So, did you learn on how to get the supporting details and the topic sentence of a paragraph? I hope you did, because right now we are going to proceed to week 6, which is different types of paragraph. The milk for this week is develop paragraphs that illustrate each type: narrative and literature, expository, explanatory, factual, and personal recount and persuasive. The enabling competency for this week is distinguish features of different text types. Let's start with an activity, students. Can you analyze the type of text presented in the following materials? You can choose the type of text in the photo presented. You can choose from narrative, expository, explanatory, persuasive, factual, and personal recount. We can see from the photo that it says buy one get one free all shoes. What kind of text is that? If your answer is persuasive, you are correct because this kind of text persuades reader. Are you ready for the next one? Let's go. In the picture, we have four kinds of books, which are math, history, science, and literature or English. This kind of books are commonly seen in schools. Have you seen this kind of books? Are these books narrative or explanatory? What do you think? These are explanatory because this kind of books teach people new information. That is why we can see them usually at schools. To help you learn a lot, right? Let's proceed to the next one. Have you watched the movies of Harry Potter? Do you know that the movie was based on the series of books written by J.K. Rowling? Do you know what kind of text is in the photo? What do you think? Is it a persuasive or a narrative one? Correct. It is a narrative text which focused on the sequence or recounting of experiences. For the second to the last photo, these are the steps or the process on how to register Shopee. Do you have a Shopee account? Or maybe a Lazada? This is an expository text, right, students? Do you also agree? Why? Because it explains or inform and uses linking words like first, second, or finally. And the last photo is a diary. Have you written your hidden feelings or thoughts regarding an event or a person? A diary is a kind of text of an example of a personal recount. Do you also agree? We can consider this as factual because the writer is not involved in the event. When you write a diary, you write your own experiences, right? Thank you for participating. So now let us now proceed to our next topic. Now that we have warmed up, are you ready to learn the types of text? In the previous lesson, you've learned about the parts of paragraph and how to construct one, right? In this week's module, You will learn the different types of paragraphs as well as their features and examples. This lesson will also help you understand the appropriate structure of paragraphs depending on their purposes. And such knowledge will help you communicate properly in different situations. So we have five types of text in our topic for this week, which includes the expository, the narrative, the persuasive, the explanatory, and the factual and personal recount. The first one is the expository text, non-fiction, or said to be true to life stories that happen in our real life. It seeks to explain or inform. It focuses on a specific topic. The writer shares ideas which convey information and provide proof and explanations. In expository writing, the linking words like, first, second, then, and finally are usually used to help the readers to follow the ideas. It helps the readers to get the process of something. The next type is the narrative one. What is a narrative text? A narrative text tells a story or a part of a story. It includes plot, structure, the conflict, the characterization, the setting, the theme, the point of view, the sequencing, and the transitions. It is focused on the sequence of events to recount an experience or occurrence and the details surrounding it. It is also focused on the sequence of an event to recount an experience or occurrence and the details surrounding it. Additional is it may be a story of a life of a person like the life of Jose Rizal, our national hero, an account of a significant historical incident like the EDSA People Power Revolution, or a report on how an invention like how Thomas Edison invented the light bulb in our house, or an invention came to be, innovation rather. The basic purposes of narrative texts are to entertain, to gain, and to hold the reader's interest. Let's review. We have already discussed the expository, the narrative, and let us proceed to the persuasive text. Persuasive text intends to convince the reader that the writer's opinion is correct. Have you experienced reading this one? It expresses the author's position or stand on an issue and gives justification for it. Persuasive text also tries to convince the reader to adopt in a particular opinion or perform a certain action. Let us proceed now to the explanatory type of text. Explanatory texts are sometimes called an explanation. It is a type of non-fiction text that explains a process, for example, how something works or why something happens. Explanatory texts are used to teach people new information. Our textbooks and modules are a common example of this type of text. The last one is the factual and the personal recount. Personal and factual recounts purpose is to list and describe past experiences by retelling the events in order in which they happened. Recounts are written to retell the events with the purpose of informing your audiences, your audience or your readers. But do you know that there are two types of recounts? The first one is the personal recount. It is when the writer is involved in the event or situation that is written. A personal recount has a beginning, a middle, or an end. And an example of this is a diary or a blog. Have you written one? The second type of factual and personal recount is a factual recount. It is when the writer is not involved in the event, but the structure is the same as the personal recount because it has a beginning, it has a middle, and also an end, just like in a personal. But the difference between a personal recount and a factual recount is that the personal recount is a personal moment that you have experienced, and a factual recount is when it is a moment that the writer has not experienced but has seen or thinks it is interesting to write about. An example for this are Wattpad books or Wattpad stories. I know you know that. So let me just explain the learning task for week 6. So you have to choose one topic from the list below and write a paragraph about it. Follow the type of paragraph development indicated in each topic. Be guided by the given rubric in your learning activity sheets. So you can choose from these 5 topics. The first one is my life as a student in the new normal. So how are your experiences? Narrate your experiences in a narrative text. So if ever you will choose how to keep your home free from coronavirus, you will have to write it in an explanatory text. Another one from your options is why a person needs to be vaccinated. So it's gonna be a persuasive one, so you have to convince that your opinions are correct. You can also choose COVID-19 and its impact in a expository way. So you have to jot down or list your its impact to the environment and also to the people around us, including yourself too. Or you can choose an act of kindness, community pantry, which is a personal or factual recount. So if ever you experienced community pantry, you can use the personal or you can use the factual recount wherein you can involve the experiences of other people and then recount it. So that's it for learning task number 4. I'm hoping you can write your own paragraph based by the discussions. So that's it for this session. Thank you for listening, students, and I am hoping you learned a lot from today's lessons. Have a great day indeed. God bless you all. Bye.